I had a dream last night that I had a DeLorean time machine. I was at some exotic locale and it looked incredible. Had the hat, the jacket, the hoverboard. But then I woke up.
Hey.
And happy Friday, everybody. Hey, what up? Happy Friday. Welcome to the Dads, Not Always on Wrestling, here on the Jeff Meacham Network. I am, of course, the West Coast Professor Jeff Meacham, and to my left on screen, but to my right, as you're seeing it, he is the Renegade JJ Williams. Before we get into the topic of the day, because it is a very anticipated topic for us, because I love this topic. It's good stuff. The movies with wrestlers in it is always a good thing. However, I have a little bit of chest puffing and ball swelling to do on behalf of both of us.
I was going to say, we both do here.
Because last week, they announced somebody that the week before, this guy had said was going to go in the Hall of Fame, or should be in the Hall of Fame, even though she wasn't yet. And sure as shit, there was no one on the screen with Sugar Shane, brother. And yesterday, I don't like to brag. Fuck that. I love to brag. You kidding me? Easy E is in, baby. I love it. He was my honorable mention. One of them. Congratulations. I said I was all over yesterday. I talked about it on the live stream in the morning. I was on the post game with Greg about it. I was on the No DQ review about it, talking it up. Dude, is there anybody that should have been in with the class of last year already that deserves it more than E? I mean, goodness sakes, man. What are your thoughts? Because I haven't had you on screen since we had this announcement. Where are you at with Eric Bischoff, my friend?
I don't dislike Bischoff.
Right.
I know Eric Bischoff is a very polarizing figure in professional wrestling.
Always has
You either love him or you hate him. And in my elder statesman ability, if you will,
right,
I really try not to hate on anybody in professional wrestling or in the real world. I may get upset, I may carry grudge for a little bit, but it's hard pressed to find somebody that I actually say, I hate this person.
Right, because hate means you wish death, and that ain't right. So
yeah, and I don't wish death upon anybody.
Nah, I do.
But Sleazy E, Easy E, Eric Bischoff, the man should have gone in. You're right. When they announced the NWO class, we discussed that.
Oh, yeah.
On the show 2 weeks ago. And we discussed our list of people that should be in the Hall of Fame.
That's it.
And then sure as shit, dude, like you said, a week later, they announced that Molly's going in.
Yep.
And Molly was like my number 3, I think.
Right, exactly.
And then they announced that Bischoff's going in. And like you said, he was one of your honorable mentions. So it almost makes me wonder if there are eyes on our video out there in Connecticut, because it just seems a little bit too ironic.
Yeah.
As the truth would say, it is a conspiracy.
And he would know. He's a 50-time 24/7 champion.
And I've also heard rumblings that another name on your list very well could be going in this year.
Yes. And I know for
that
a
would
fact,
make 3 if that happens.
Yeah.
out of 5 or 6. Like, we're already, if that happens, we're already halfway through the class. Hell, we're already 2 for 2, dude.
Yeah. And I said this during the Nerdy Key review yesterday, and I will say it here again. I was quite rude yesterday morning during my stream, and I do apologize for my candor toward the company. However, I know they're watching. I know they're watching everything I do. So the fact that we're 2 for 2,
feel like somebody's watching me.
That's it. And the fact that we're 2 for 2, and the fact that we're 2 for 2 in a year that I know I'm not the most liked guy more than ever up in that tower, really makes me wonder. It really does. So to be fair, Eric was the only honorable mention for me because I didn't feel right putting Eric and then not Crockett and Heyman, or Heyman and then not Crockett and Eric. So like that's the reason those 3 guys were in honorable mention. Otherwise, it would have been like a collective pick for me. So yeah, we're 2 for 2. Let's see what happens next week on the bump or after the bell, or whatever the hell. I love how it's on the bump, which is Greg's jam because of the trivia thing, and then Eric gets announced on this show they stole from me. That's tremendous. I love that.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
It's a beautiful thing. I will be very interested to see what happens next week on whatever show they do it on. And
yeah, most definitely.
Because there's a lot, and I do know for a fact that if Jay Resso hadn't showed up at Revolution, he would have been in this year. I got that from the very reliable source that it would have been Christian this year. So he wants to work, man. What, for real.
I don't blame him. Like, if he still has the gas in the tank, then drive the vehicle.
He's clearly got the gas. He's clearly got the look, for crying out loud. He looked redonkulous at the Rumble. Like, for real.
Well, I didn't see the AEW show that he showed up on, but like when he came out in the Rumble, he looked like he was in the best shape of his career.
Yeah.
And, he's been detoxing, he's been working out, he's been doing DDP yoga, he's been doing whatever the package is, he was looking really, really solid.
Yeah, I haven't seen Jay look that good. You know what? I haven't seen Jay look that good. For real.
Since he was wearing poet shirts and coming up through Rings of Fire.
I mean, even
then he didn't take his shirt off, so you wouldn't know.
I was going to say, this is the best I've seen that gentleman look in his entire wrestling career, even when he was NWA champion, even when he was, vampire in training with Dave and Adam. I'm serious. Like, he looks absurd. And the fact that Vince couldn't – God, we were screaming at Christian versus the Usos for 6 months. Like, come on, man. Anyway, I'm trying to – I was really a dickhead yesterday. I'm trying not to be today, but that's okay. Okay, so today's Dad's Not Always in Wrestling is, yes, it is a non-wrestling week. However, it's March, and we told you it's a wrestling month, kids, so we're tying it in. Today's episode is our opinion. Again, where's my banner? Must find banner.
Subjective.
Yeah, there you go. Subjective. Where is it? There it is. Hi. Subjective. Everything we say on every show on my network, every episode of Renegade's Reviews, every collaboration, and I'm going like this and not having a full real time. I look like a freaking weird dance movie or some shit.
You're John Morrison doing his slow-mo entrance.
Dude, if I had the hair for that, I would do it every week. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, for real, I would. I want Jomo to buy me some Rogaine and teach me the skills. Anyway, I love you, John. You know that. And there will be shenanigans today. Question about it. So let's just get it out there right now. So,
and full disclosure.
Today's show, very simply.
I was going to say, full disclosure, this is a retape. This is another one that Jeff lost in the shuffle and it's being reshot. That's right. Hang your producer's head in shame there, Mr. Meacham. But despite the fact that this is a retape, and despite the fact that I have now gone back and watched 19 days of movies with wrestlers, I have not altered my list any. It very easily would. I could have very easily done it with some of the movies that I have now seen, because there's a few that I had never seen before.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to steal your one for the show, dude, but were some fucking great movies that I could have thrown into my list.
That's okay. Yeah.
But I have not altered my list whatsoever from the original filming.
There you go. All right, so this is the non-wrestling week, which means I'm going first, correct?
Yes, please. Allow me to still bring it home at least once this month, you know.
I will do that.
Even though everything is wrestling this month, you know, because of WrestleMania. You know, supposed to have been at the end of March, but then got pushed back a couple of weeks, which that's fine. We're not going to hate on the E for pulling that move and totally screwing up our planning. But, you know, even though it is a non-wrestling week, even though it is still a wrestling topic, I would like to bring this one home if I can, since I am the guy with the movie show.
Absolutely. And I'm not mad at that. I was just making sure we had our story straight. I did want to bring up the name of the person who's in my number one movie, because I always forget his friggin' name. So, all right. On we go, kids. All right. So, my number 10, I mean, here's what I'm going to do. Since you gave me your thumbnails for your choices, we share a lot of the same movies, by the way. So I'm just going to throw that out there right now.
I figured as much.
So what I did is I found like stills from the movie, or, you know, like publicity shots. I'm clearly a Hollywood person because I can't think of the word publicity, or whatever. So that's what I'm going with. So my number 10 is my number 10 for one reason, and I will get to the reason momentarily. My number 10 is the often criticized, ill-fated production from the combination of Warner Brothers and World Championship Wrestling, Ready to Rumble, starring our boy David Arquette, who I'll get to in a minute, Sean Conn?
Scott Conn.
Scott Conn. Thank you. I always get Sean William Scott and Scott Conn. The names, they always blur together. And of
Sean
course,
Astin.
And Sean, that damn Sean Astin.
Because they were all pretty popular around the time.
Stupid Hobbit. Anyway, I said what I said. It's 9 hours of walking. Shut up, people.
You know what? Sean Astin was also the brother of Thanos, okay? So you watch what you say, or Josh Brolin will come and snap you out of existence.
Hey, he got defeated. He can kiss my ass. All right, anyway. Damn it. And lest we forget the multiple WCW wrestlers, and as of the start of the movie, the reigning, defending, undisputed WCW heavyweight champion of the world, Jimmy King, baby!
That's right. You know what? If there was ever somebody that needs to be in the celebrity wing of the WWE Hall of Fame, it needs to be Jimmy King. Not Oliver Platt. Jimmy King.
No. Yeah, Jimmy King.
They seriously need to induct him as Jimmy King.
Yes, I agree. And this shot is so bad because I couldn't find a decent screen cap of the guy. I had to freaking enhance the belt to make it. Oh yeah, that's right. That's the big gold belt. Duh. Yeah. Anyway, I picked this strictly for the reason that David Arquette became a thing in wrestling, and he and I become buddies. I love that David Arquette knows me on a first name basis. That just warms the cockles of my little ginger heart. So, and he's a cool dude, and people give him way too much shit for this, and the fact that he was a world champion, it sucks. I hate it.
Because at the time he was world champion,
I know
he didn't have that clout, that respect. You know, he was a comedian. He was Dewey from Scream. He was, you know, Mr. Courtney Cox, like.
Yeah, Jarrett called him Mr. Cox like every week on the show. So, you know.
At the time, put it to you this way, if Nitro Thunder were around today and that angle were to happen now with him actually being a name in professional wrestling, it would not get crapped on the way it did 20 years ago.
Nowhere near as much. It probably would still get a little bit of shit because he's not, I mean, yeah, and here's the thing, if he had done what he's done now back then, I don't think, like, it's very much a moment in time that exists in that time because it's that time. So
if Bad Bunny can be the 24/7 champion, then David Arquette having the WCW gold should not be a big effing deal.
Why do you try to get fired every
held
2
it
weeks?
for like a week, and Bad Bunny still ain't dropped it.
He did actually do Truth on Monday.
Oh, okay. See, I missed that.
Yeah, Truth actually traded him a boatload of Stone Cold Steve Austin merchandise for 316 Day in exchange for his baby back.
Oh, there you go.
He got his baby back.
Ribs.
Chili's. Sorry, Pat, wrong. Okay, I'm good. By the way,
understood that reference.
I'm so glad. I'm glad you did. By the way, bringing up Bad Bunny on any of my shows, you're gonna get yourself fired like every 2 weeks. Like you're just gonna get yourself fired. So just knock that shit off. I'm for real. Thank you. Anyway,
if I wasn't sitting, I'd do the proverbial dad's walk off. But you know,
shit. I remember those. Oh my god! If you don't know, go back and look. They're golden, kids. They're golden. Okay.
The first one was in Dad's episode 3 back in the day.
Yeah, that's how far back it goes, for real. So, all right, number 9 for me is also on your list. No, actually, it's not on your list. It's only on my list. Just kidding. I was surprised it wasn't on your list because I actually thought we both enjoyed this movie from this particular wrestler at equal levels, and I was surprised it wasn't on your list at all. But I had seen him do many movies before this in his effort to branch out from being a doctorate of a certain type of language. And God bless him, he tried his ass off. But this one, he pulled it off. Legendary. I love this movie. It's so well acted. Everybody in this is amazing. And you don't expect it to be because it's a John Cena movie, but it's damn good. It is really, really wonderfully done. And the only one of John's movies I like more than that now is, and I can't remember the damn name of the movie. At least it's gonna kill me when I don't remember. But the movie where he's the fire captain and he's got the guy from here we go. Jay's going to the shelves, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, yeah, that Playing with Fire. And that's only superseded Legendary because Dylan and I saw it together and we were both laughing our asses off the whole time. So good.
Black Friday deal at Volley World, $5.
Dude, like that needs to be a thing this year, Black Friday. I need that movie in my collection. Just cause.
Legendary almost made my list.
Right.
Honestly, I don't know why it didn't.
Okay.
You know, yeah, I can't really defend that move because Legendary is a damn good movie. I do thoroughly enjoy it.
Yes.
I don't know why it didn't make my list, except for the fact that, you know, I mean, you've seen my list, you've seen the heavy hitters that are on it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, if we were making a top 15 or a top 20, then it definitely would have squeezed in there.
Yeah. And
but I mean,
and like we said in take 1, the fact that my number 1 wasn't on your list, considering the magnitude of that movie, surprises me. So, but again, we'll get there.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Number 8 is also on your list. It's one of those things where he's done so many movies over the years. This major player actor, not the wrestler involved in the movie, but like my 2 favorite of his are not his usual forte, if you will, back then, because he was a major comedian at the time. But I love The Truman Show more than any of his movies. And I really, really adore Man in the Moon, the Andy Kaufman story. Jim Carrey, and yes, that is Jerry the King Lawler with his 80s goatee. God help you, Jerry. I love the movie. I love the stories behind the movie, that Jim lost his damn mind and almost got his ass kicked. I love the Jim and Andy documentary that's on Netflix now that talks about his time getting into Andy's soul pretty much, which is just so moving. This whole process of this movie makes this movie that much more awesome for me. But
most definitely.
But you know, since it's a wrestlers in the movies show, Jerry Lawler, duh. The ironic thing for me, and I love this shit, Jim Ross plays Lance Russell, and Lance Russell's in the movie as the ring announcer, as a either ring announcer or an interviewer, one or the other. Milos, huh? Anyway,
you know,
God bless Lance. May Lance rest in peace for that. But I mean, goodness sakes, if you're gonna cast somebody as Lance Russell, and Lance is already in the movie, you need to have proper eyewear, clearly, or something. Like, did Lance not do a good enough job playing Lance Russell? Like, what the frick? And granted, Jim Ross is the best announcer of all time. I'm not even going to front on that. He's the best play-by-play guy that's ever been. But that was stupid casting. I'm sorry. And of course, Stacy, the soon-to-be ex-Lawler, is in that as well.
For a blink and you miss it cameo.
Right. I mean, like, she's literally off Jerry's shoulder in the funeral scene. Like, that's it. That's all you see. That's it.
But if you know who she is, then you spot her when that scene comes.
If you
don't know who she is, oh, look, they cast some cute blonde to be an extra next to Jerry Lawler.
Yeah. Very cute blonde. And I've been watching the Attitude Era stuff lately on the network pay-per-views, and she wasn't blonde when it happened. Wow. Anyway, so yeah.
God bless John Ian for being able to have her and Kazarni come to the old M1W shows and getting to meet her.
Cool. Yeah, I don't think I was at that one. I did meet Kazarni later when he was at the Frankenstein's the same day. Mick was there, I want to say. It was at that one. Mick and Molina was at that one we've been to.
No, I think it was Paige, because I think if you watch our DDP promo, you can see him in the background of DDP's promo for us.
You're right. Thank you very much. Yeah, I could have sworn that was Mick's day too. Maybe not. I don't know. We went to Frankenstein so many damn friggin' times over the years. Good Lord.
Accurate.
God mighty. I haven't been in the new spot. I really want to check out the new spot once COVID stops being a bitch. Anyway, numero 7 is also on your list. So I picked a picture of the wrestler who's in the movie because that's what we're doing today. Full disclosure, I have not seen the entire saga yet, but I have seen both of these. And dude, God bless Big Dave. I mean, he just pulls it off so well. I don't like Batista, the wrestling character, but damn it, Dave Batista's a good actor. It's disgusting how good he is in the different roles he is. Now, granted, for the most part, he plays the heavy in the Bond movie and then the other stuff he does. But him as Drax, like, I would never expect that much. Can't think of the freaking word. Different sorts of talents coming out of him in the same role. He's versatile. Versatility. Aha! There it is. Son of a bitch. Yeah, he's very versatile, and it shows in this movie. So I, as a wrestling fan who enjoys wrestlers making cameos in movies, I'm very proud to have Batista in the MCU. It's too cool for school. I love it. So Guardians of the Galaxy Part 1 is my next one. The next one, we're going way back. I'm talking like into the late 80s back because it's one of the ones that...
Are we getting into a time machine?
No. Do we supposed to go on a time machine with the wrestler?
No.
Do I not know that?
Just making a joke about going back to the 80s.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we did have the DeLorean.
Sorry if I threw you off there.
No,
Sorry
if
I threw you off there.
RentTheDeLorean.com. Anyway, love you, Adam. All right, so no, we can't use a DeLorean because this movie takes place in the jungles of wherever the hell they are trying to hunt this damn thing, and I don't want to take the DeLorean back there because it's too pretty. I'm talking about Arnold, the Hall of Famer, and another Hall of Famer, Jesse, the Body Ventura, Predator. I mean, I don't do the war movies. Like Platoon came out around the same time as this. I can't watch Platoon. It is disturbing. But this one's enough science fiction where it doesn't warp my fragile little ginger mind watching it. It's scary. I mean, the thing is ugly. I'm not going to lie. And, you know, they've definitely evolved or devolved, however you want to look at it, over the years. But this original one with Arnold and Jesse and Carl Weathers and everybody, just awesome. I love it. It's a great flick. And like Jesse said in 2004, all we need now is Carl Weathers in the Celebrity Ring of the Hall of Fame and we're set.
There you go.
Or you know, Carl runs for political office. Please don't do that, Carl. Please don't do that. So great flick. I love Predator. Like I said, I'm not really big into Arnold's movies. Never really have been. Not gonna lie.
Really?
But this one, yeah. I don't know why.
I've always been a Schwarzenegger guy over Stallone.
Now, see, that's not me. I don't like either of their like Rambo term, like the big action ones. I love Rocky. I love Rocky.
Terminator is epic, dude. At least the first two.
okay.
Everything that comes after part 2
is hot garbage. Yeah. But okay.
But 1 and 2.
I'm not necessarily crapping. I'm not saying I just dislike them with a passion. I don't care. Like it's not my thing. I never saw the original one the whole way through. Let's be honest. Right. And T2 was so good. It's like I don't know if I want to see the first one because T2 was so damn good. Like I don't want to screw my memories up. So
right. 2 things I'm going to say to that. Okay. Number 1, as far as the Schwarzenegger thing goes, watch Last Action Hero.
Right.
And
that
watch him. What I was going to say, watch him make fun of himself.
Right.
Then go back and watch his classics.
All right. Okay. Like I said, I
wanted to point out is you said that you don't really do war movies and you mentioned Platoon. Mm-hmm. Platoon, I highly recommend watching for one major reason. Mm-hmm. Okay. They went against caste in Platoon.
I know.
Willem Dafoe is the good guy.
I know.
For a change.
Yeah.
And Tom Berenger,
Tom Berenger
is the bad guy.
Yeah. I've seen Platoon. I'm not saying I haven't seen it. I have seen it. Just okay.
I misunderstood what you were saying then.
Yeah. Spoiler in 3, 2, when he buries the barrel of his gun into that kid's head, I'm good.
I feel you. It was definitely a violent war movie.
Very violent. Yeah.
I had to see it in a film class me and Mikey saw in college.
Oh, man. See, I hate when they do that shit to us, man. I hate that so much when they do that shit to us. It's terrible. When I took my film in lit class, we watched Kite Runner. Man, the book is bad enough. But, dude, the movie just F's your ass up, dude. It's barbaric. It's bad. Anyway, enough of that. But yeah, Platoon I can't do again. Like Gregor had this talk about matches we can't watch. Like I still cannot watch John versus Brock at SummerSlam. I will never watch that match ever again. I can watch the match where Sid gets hurt. I just can't watch the injury. I can watch Hell in a Cell mostly. I Quit with Rock and Foley is a hard go, but if somebody has to see it, I'll sit there and suck my thumb through it or some shit. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, other than that, I'm good. I still can't get Greg to watch the Foley the Sabu Terry Funk match. I'm like, come on, man. It's only bad because you're seeing tendons. Like you're seeing muscles ripped out, Jeff. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm a sick person. It's okay. So next up for me, where are we at here? 10, 9, 5. There we go. 5, as in 5. But it's not him. It's the other guy. It's The Rock in the rundown. Now, Jeff, you didn't pick the Scorpion King? Jeff, you didn't pick Walking Tall? No, I didn't pick any of that shit. I like this one. I like this one because he went against type. He wasn't just the action guy. He wasn't just the big brooding guy who was kicking at everybody's ass. He was funny. And Sean William Scott's in it. And Lord knows Sean is funny. This was my first realization that Dwayne was going to go against being just the big hulking action dude. And I liked the direction it went. And it really started to make me not hate on him for being away so long. And then I watched him induct his father and grandfather, hated him for the next 6 years. Lordy. It's like, Dwayne, we got to get up in the early morning tomorrow, brother. Come on. We got to get home. But at this point, love Dwayne. And let's be honest. Chris Walken makes anything better, so it's okay.
And let's not gloss over Rosario Dawson, who has become the queen of nerddom here in the last 20 years.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get to Rosario. I'm just trying to think how to phrase it without sounding like a complete perv. Yeah, dude, Rosario's in Rent. I hadn't seen Rent until 2005 when I got turned on to it by a certain significant other. And she's like the most drugged out, like spaz of a human being in that movie, and she's still flipping hot. This one, she knocks it out of the park. She does so well. Yeah, so awesome.
I mean, you can go back to her and Josie and the Pussycats if you really want to start her nerddom run.
Yeah,
but you've got that. You've got MIB2. You've got Sin City. You've got Death Proof. You've got freaking all kinds of shit, like Lego Batman.
Right? Exactly.
The Mandalorian.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Mr.
She's in the MCU now.
Yep.
You know, like just watch an interview with her and Kevin Smith and watch the way he nerds out on her. And she's been in his universe too, and Clerks too.
I know, for real. Yeah. I have a question for my movie expert.
I will do my best, sir.
Why can't Agent J keep a woman in the MIB series? We get Agent L at the end of part 1, and she's nowhere to be seen. We get Rosario in part 2. She ends up being the freaking the light of the universe. She has to go away. And then in part 3, I haven't seen part 3 the whole way through, so I don't know what happens. But like,
I've never seen part 3.
Oh.
I own it, but I haven't watched it.
Movie night. All right. Anyway, so
all I can say as far as that goes is it's Will Smith. That's why.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, but see, the Fresh Prince on TV couldn't keep a woman. The
only woman that he can keep is Jada. Scratch that.
I'm going to help on TV or on real life. Tasty beverage.
Going to help for that one.
Tasty beverages on the Casa portion of the show. There we go. All right, moving right along. Thank you for that. All right, very good. All right,
Fuzzy, turn left when you come to the fork in the road.
All right.
And if you don't understand that reference,
get the hell off my channel
right now.
Go away. After 10 years with us, if you don't know that reference, get the hell out of here. Goodbye. And if you know the reference and you still treat us like shit when we give you shoelaces, you still sucks. Anyway, all right, there we go. I said what I said. If you know, you know. Next up for me is one that completely caught me off guard. When I saw it, I was not prepared for how much I loved it, and I loved it. It was tremendous, and it deserved all the accolades it got. It deserved the guy in the lead role having his resurgence that he had, and it was awesome to see him be part of WrestleMania and the Hall of Fame that year. The Wrestler. This is every indie show JJ and I have ever been to that has a name tag.
Rolled into a movie.
Like, I mean, you've got Ernest the Cat Miller playing the Ayatollah, his chief nemesis. No, Dean, leave me alone.
I had to look at my phone for a minute. I thought that was me.
No. That is Travis asking about tomorrow's, which I will also plug that as well. Anyway, so I was not prepared for how close to home this was going to hit. I'll tell you why. This came out a year after I actually got in, right? So I'm going to indie shows. I'm working indie shows. I'm seeing these guys that I grew up watching. Gangrel. Not that Gangrel was Gangrel was nowhere near as bad off as Randy the Ram. But like seeing these guys I'd grown up watching for 10, 20 years and then watching this movie and going, damn, this is some heavy shit. Mm-hmm. Like it's heavy, it's heavy duty. Like, and again, spoiler in 3, 2, that scene where he grinds his hand into the meat cutter at the grocery store, dude, that is like, that hits me so hard because it's that moment where he goes, I can't survive in this world. I belong there.
Yeah.
Dude, that is the Jeff Meacham story. I'm going to get a little freaking philosophical here for a minute. I am 38 years old, y'all. I have never held a real world 9-to-5 job for more than a year and a half. This stuff I've been doing for almost 20. I belong in this world.
Yeah.
So that scene makes my heart just freaking jump out of my chest and have an out-of-body experience for the next 30 minutes of the movie.
Oh, most definitely.
God
most definitely.
Damn, man.
That movie is so intense. And you want to talk about the resurgence for Mickey Rourke.
Right?
It also brought Marissa Tomei back to the limelight. And look at where she is now.
Right?
Hello, Aunt May to Peter Parker in the MCU.
Yeah. And by the way, I have to. I thought that real quick. Marissa Tomei becoming a thing again in that movie. I found out that she is a local to this particular area of the country. She shopped at the Target I worked at.
There you go.
Got to meet her in person. Sweet girl.
Evan Rachel Wood as Randy's daughter.
Yeah.
Prior to this movie, the only frame of reference I had from her was Across the Universe.
Right. Well, as you should.
being able to see her in something a little bit more dramatic where she doesn't have to show her singing chops off.
Right.
Which, goddamn, that girl can sing, by the way. If you've never seen Across the Universe, check that out.
Yeah.
But that was one of my main reasons for wanting to go see it, is like, yes, of course, it's wrestling related. I'm going to go see it for that. But then I'm like, oh, Evan Rachel Wood is in it too?
Yep.
Okay. She was good as Lucy. Let's see what she does in something non-Beatles. And holy shit, if she didn't knock it out the park. And then the laundry list of cameos.
Seriously, I think we've met everybody in this cast at least once.
You touched on Ernest the Cat Miller, but R-Truth has a bit part in it. Necro Butcher, the Blue Meanie.
Dude, I had just come off working a show where Brawl and Bo Cooper and Necro had a death match in my hometown. And I called him up the next day. I'm like, dude, you did so good. Because he's in the deathmatch scene with Randy. That's intense. It's
they showed them shopping for props for the match and then using them.
Yeah, and then the blade thing, oh my god, seriously. Even back then, I was like, oh man, I don't want to see this on TV. This is bad enough seeing it in person.
What I loved about that scene, though, is they showed the aftermath first,
right?
And as they're stitching Randy up and removing the staples and shit, they show how he got those injuries. So it's like, okay, this is the end result.
Right.
And this is how we got there.
Yes.
I really liked how they did that scene.
Right. We were talking this, I don't know if it was yesterday morning during my stream or if it was on the Greg Cherry show, whatever show it was this week, we were talking about it. Somebody brought up New Jack and if I'd ever, if he would ever, be in the Hall of Fame if I ever met him. And I'm like, I worked exactly one show with him. And I went into the story of it. I mentioned that you had the gazongas enough to go up there and actually talk to him. And I went, my ass stayed in the crow's nest because I'm afraid of that motherfucker. I am not messing with him. And the fact that they show stapling in the movie, I'm just like, oh, no.
Jack's my boy. I have always loved him. And I know you don't get it.
I don't. I'm sorry.
Honestly, I think what started it for me is when I was watching ECW on TNN and he would come out to Natural Born Killers. I always loved that song.
I know. Yeah. And
from the first time I heard that song in 1990, I think it was 94, I was addicted to that song because the gunshot to start it, the beat is just phenomenal.
Oh, it is.
The lyrics are so gutter and grimy.
Yeah.
And then to hear that on TNN, the Nashville Network, non-censored, as he's doing his thing in the rain, it's like, so wait a minute, we're listening to Dr. Dre and Ice Cube on a country music channel, uncensored, as he beats the piss out of someone in the rain.
Yeah. Yeah,
I saw him in Beyond the Mat.
Right.
And Beyond the Mat really normalized him.
It did.
It took the light off of New Jack and shined it on Jerome. And Jerome, at least in that movie, seemed like a chill dude. He's the type of guy I'd want to go to the bar and have a drink with.
Right.
Non-alcoholic, of course, because, I'm not a heavy drinker, but let's go and shoot the shit with them, Yeah. So when they came to LA for Heatwave 2000, that was my holy grail. I wanted to meet Jack.
Right.
He was injured, but he was there. I got my picture with him.
I remember, yeah.
And then when we got to fast forward all those years and we're working the show with him, it's like, dude, I can actually go and try to shoot the shit with him. Yeah. Why should I be scared? It's like, so what if he's got 7 or 8 justifiable homicides? Why should I be scared of this man? He's always seemed chill to me. So I went up to him and started talking to him, and Jeff damn near shit his britches, thinking I was about to go die. This fat white boy walking over to the big bad brother.
Dude, like, and
we just talked for a few minutes, got another picture with him. Gravy.
All I know is,
I will never hate on Jerome Young.
Like I said, I'm trying very hard not to hate on anybody on the show, because Lord knows I do that enough on my other shows. Like, I don't hate New Jack, and like I was even like mildly afraid for your life at that show. I'm not gonna lie. But then I watched Dark Side of the Ring, and they showed the actual footage of the mass transit incident, and he showed not a bit of remorse, dude. Like, that's cold.
Okay, but in all fairness, why should he have showed remorse? Mass Transit lied his fucking ass off to get on that show.
I know.
Why should Jack have showed any remorse? Dude got in there, was told this guy was a trained wrestler, was asked to make him bleed. He did everything he was asked to do. Why should he care?
I mean, back then I get it in 1996, but in 2019, man, like, come on. Anyway, we're gonna finish some philosophical shit here. So,
hey.
All right, it's what we do, shenanigans.
At this point, you're probably wishing you hadn't lost the other episode, because it only went about an hour. We're not even
just on my list. Yeah, seriously. All right, so I'm gonna try to get through this here. So my number 3 is on your list. I forget where it is, but it's on. I have a graphic for it. So my number 3 is one of my favorite movie ever, period, end of story, end of sentence, whatever you want to call it. And there's so many cameos in this, it's ridiculous. Like, people, you don't realize it's them until you see the credits and go, oh, okay, that's that guy. But the wrestler in this movie, you know exactly who it is from the first minute he appears. Princess Bride. And when you think about the fact that Andre was basically being held together by wires and braces throughout the entire duration of this filming, and he still pulls off what he pulls off, just a tremendous testament to his desire to be something more than he was, which was always Andre's thing. And Andre had such a gentle spirit, and if you ask Stephanie McMahon, she'll start crying, like I'm going to start crying right now about it. But it was such a beautiful moment to have him bond with Robin Wright. It's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful movie. Everybody in it's a great actor or actress, and it's. I almost put it in the category Back to the Future. It's damn near a perfect movie. I mean, everything in it is so wonderful.
Peter Falk tells you right in the beginning that this story has everything.
Yep.
When he tries to sell his grandson, young Fred Savage, on the story.
Yep.
But of course, in typical young boy fashion, when it starts off going really, really lovey-dovey, he's like, hey, I want to hear this shit. Where's the fencing? Where's the fighting? Where's the action? It's like, calm your britches. Get in there. Like, gotta exposition. Gotta lay out the story. Why we care about Wesley and Buttercup.
That's right. All right. So, number 2. I can get it. There we go. Okay. Number 2 is definitely on your list because you and I reviewed this together recently on Renegade's Reviews. And
am I wearing the shirt for this person?
You are wearing the shirt for this person, as a matter of fact. And no, it's not that god-awful thing you reviewed of his that I will never speak of again because, God, it sucks so bad. That's it. You see, you're doing the sunglasses this time. I did it on the review. But as we know... I was
prepared this time.
As we know, with John Nada, he has come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And unlike me, who has the bubblegum here, he is out of it. And he starts blowing shit to hell. They Live, directed by John Carpenter, featuring the most redonkulous fight scene in the history of cinema that was recreated move for move by South Park. We've gone over this 100 times this month, so I'm just going to move right along because I think we've covered They Live about 60 times this month. So anyway,
because it's that awesome. It is John Carpenter's best thing that is not called Halloween.
I will co-sign on that right now. I will co-sign on that and take it to the bank with you. Absolutely. I agree with it. Now.
And for me, I might just put it an inch above Halloween, only because of everything that Halloween's legacy became after the original.
Yeah.
Plus Roddy Piper. Like, dude, you throw Roddy Piper into fucking Halloween and...
Dude,
he could have been an H2O, goddammit.
You know what? The thing is, if you put Roddy in Halloween, Michael's dead in 5 minutes. There's no movie.
Right?
Because Roddy would kick his ass. Roddy blow him to hell.
I heard John Wick is looking for Michael Myers right now.
I heard that.
Because what he likes to do to dogs.
Right? I saw that. I thank you for that comment earlier in the week. It made me almost pee my pants. I'm not going to lie. I think I peed a little. All right. So, you're out there wondering, what could possibly be a better wrestler starring in a movie than They Live, or Princess Bride, or The Wrestler? Well, I, my friends, have dug a nugget out of the vault for you. Because back in the 50s, I believe is when he wrestled. Let me just double check before I start. He debuted in wrestling in 1953. He retired in 1972. The same year this movie came out. For the record,
and 4 years before I was born.
That's right, because Jay an old fart. Anyway, so his given name was Lenny Montana. He went by the wrestling name the Zebra Kid. But if you're a fan of classic all-time great cinema, you know him as Luca Brasi in The Godfather.
Gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Luca Brasi was Vito's enforcer. So a professional wrestler is Marlon Brando's heavy in The Godfather. How is that not the greatest wrestler starring in a movie of all time? He's in a major role in the movie. So there you go. The Godfather is my number one. And here we are 55 minutes in. God help us all. Well, minus because we did BS a little bit before we started actually doing the show. So
well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you.
You know, you mentioned it earlier when I did talk about how this is a reshoot. You know, I did not know that there was a wrestler in The Godfather when we shot this the first time.
Right.
And for you to throw that curveball at me.
Yeah.
That's definitely a nice touch. And I just got to make sure I give you that kudos again here, since this is actually going to go up this time. I am surprised.
Yes, because I'm downloading this right away.
Yeah. I am surprised that there was nothing by your brother on your list, but you know, it is what it is. There's only room for 10, and you got some really solid films there.
And honestly, we talked about my love of the Hulk Hogan movies. And yes, I do enjoy Terry's movies. But are they top 10 classics? No. not in my opinion, anyway. So.
All right. Well, getting on to my list. And since we do share quite a few, I'm going to try to just run through those to make up some time here.
Good shit, pal.
Number 10 on my list was not on your list.
Right.
And it was the first film to feature a wrestler in a Marvel film, I believe. While not part of the MCU officially, it is still a Marvel Studios production and features a man who would go on to star in such films as The Chaperone and Inside Out, not the Pixar one.
Oh, it should have been, damn it.
I'm talking about Triple H in Blade Trinity.
What is the year on Blade Trinity, out of curiosity? Do you have that in front of you?
I don't have it in front of me.
I will check.
It was late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay, because for some reason I thought it was 2003, but I will double.
2003 would still be early 2000s.
Okay, it's 2004, which means it wasn't the first wrestler in a Marvel movie. Boom,
because of Tyler Mane.
So.
Well, and even going further, Tyler Mane in X-Men. Technically.
I always forget freaking Tyler's an X-Men. Jesus, he's a buddy.
Sabretooth.
God, I'm such a dick.
But anyway, Triple H and Blade Trinity.
Oh my God, he's so good. Oh.
Like, you could see that the guy could have seriously transitioned to Hollywood off the heels of that. He was so good in his character.
Yes, he was.
But with Rocky already doing that,
right,
WWE needed him too bad. You know?
Right.
They gave him a couple of films later on, like I said, The Chaperone, which will be coming up next year on movies starring wrestlers on the Casa channel.
Nice.
Alongside of Ariel Winter. You know her, of course, from Modern Family, the voice of Sophia the First.
And the single greatest mind F in the history of Facebook comments.
And then, of course,
you know. Anyway, go ahead.
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
Whose character basically was Deadpool, but his name wasn't Deadpool.
Right.
Like, Ryan Reynolds totally played his character the way he would play Deadpool to show Marvel that, hey, a Deadpool movie can be successful.
Yes.
And it was.
Oh, yeah.
Who can deny Wesley Snipes as Blade? Like, seriously.
Right.
I mean, I am sad that Wesley is not coming back for the new Blade they're doing.
I know.
But the guy that they have that's going to play Blade was one of the bad guys in Luke Cage.
Right.
He played the role of Cottonmouth on that series.
Oh, okay.
And he was so damn good as Cottonmouth. I know he'll bring that same intensity to the role of Blade.
Yep. That's Hunter in his character role with his equally vampiric dog.
I don't know whose hair is prettier, the dog's or Hunter's. Like, seriously.
Well, you know, but by that point he had Stephanie helping out with grooming tips, so you know.
This is true.
I said what I said. I don't give a shit. They're watching anyway. I don't care.
Number 9 on my list. You know, you said that there isn't a Hulk Hogan film that is top 10 worthy. God damn it, I argue with you.
Here we go.
This movie is my proof. Suburban Commando.
I say, okay.
Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, Doc Brown himself, Christopher Lloyd, Shelley Duvall. Like, seriously. This film is so awesome.
I know.
And you can call it 90s cheese if you want, because I will not argue you.
Okay.
It is total 90s cheese.
Total 90s cheese.
But is there any better 90s cheese movie than Suburban Commando? Like, seriously. Like I said, you just go off of those 4 names right there.
Right.
A pre-Undertaker Mark Calloway. This movie came out, I want to say it was like October 4th, 1990. He didn't debut till Survivor Series.
For some reason I thought it was 91, but
no.
Maybe.
I did my research when I was discussing it this month. I may be off on the date, but I remember it was early October of 1990. And in any event, he didn't debut until a month or so later.
Which would put it at the exact start time of my fandom, pretty much, which was October 6th. So
there's The Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, full-blown Hulkamania mode.
Oh my God, yes.
Like, this movie I read was originally supposed to be called Urban Commando.
Right.
And it was supposed to be a Schwarzenegger DeVito film.
Yep.
But when they decided to do Twins, New Line optioned it as the follow-up for No Holds Barred for Hogan.
Right. Yep.
You know, Shelley Duvall, Olive Oil, Nicholson's wife in The Shining. Moving right along.
Talking about a contrast of freaking roles. Holy balls.
Christopher Lloyd. Can we talk enough about how awesome Christopher Lloyd is on this channel? Like, seriously. Doc Brown, Reverend Jim in Taxi. Yep. You know, freaking this.
I will never.
Uncle Fester in the Addams Family films.
Yeah, I will never deny Christopher Lloyd's awesomeness ever on anything whatsoever. He's one of the best ever.
And just a great story.
Like I said,
a great story about learning how to stand up for yourself.
Right.
And getting your cojones after you've been pushed around for so long.
Right. Like I said to you in the past, if both of us didn't have the other movie on our list as oh God, that's on your list, really? I can maybe let you have Superman Commando. Because it's a fun Hulk Hogan movie. But it's not going to get the thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert. It's not one of those movies. And that's what I was trying to point out. I'm not saying it's a bad movie, because I love Superman Commando. But it's not a top 10 all-time movie. It's not. I love it and you love it, but it's not going to be the Critics' Choice Awards, taking everything away at the end of the day. Is all I was trying to say. And like I said, you're going to have a movie coming up later that's on both our lists, and both of us should be smacked in the head for having it on our list. But, it's so cheesy, and we're Sobeys guys, so it's okay. Anyway, carry on.
Number 8 on my movies list.
It's definitely on my list.
Was not on Jeff's list.
No.
Although it should have been.
Well, because I didn't see it until about 5 years ago, to be fair.
Still. You want to talk about a film where anything and everything can go wrong and does. And I do believe that this is the only film on my list where the wrestler is the major heavy.
Yes.
Triple H was a side character.
Yeah.
He wasn't really the bad guy at Blade Trinity.
Right.
But Friday, with tiny Zeus Lister in the role of Debo, the main antagonist for Craig and Smokey.
I love that the cover of this is the damn meme. The damn meme. It's the greatest single meme, I think, on Facebook GIFs, because everybody can use that at least once in life. If they're not using Ron Simmons, they're using this one.
And if they don't use this one for a meme, they use Bye Felicia. Which also comes from that movie.
Yeah, but I never liked that one. I know the girls started using it when we were all getting weird. Anyway, carry on.
But you figure that Zeus, if we're being real here, yes, he is a wrestler, but he's not a wrestler.
Right.
He's definitely an actor first. He only became a wrestler off the heels of No Holds Barred.
Right.
WWF wanted to use him in some major angles to help further promote the movie. Zeus is the reason, as you pointed out, that Brutus Beefcake became a main eventer for a cup of coffee.
And when I had a chance to tell Tony about that, I was like, "You're bad, dude. That's your bad." Anyway.
But
I love you, Brutus. I'm sorry.
Tiny Lister in No Holds Barred is the reason why he carried the Zeus name throughout the majority of his acting career.
Right.
Because of the recognition off of the Zeus name.
Yeah, I only think he didn't use the nickname in one credit. That was The Dark Knight.
I want to say there might have been more than one. I would definitely have to look it up, but it took a good 10 or so years of being billed as Tiny Zeus Lister before he was finally like, you know what? I can drop the Zeus now.
Yeah.
And just be Tiny Lister Jr.
Right. Yep.
So, but Friday, dude, I mean, you got to love Debo. And then Debo came back for next Friday, which, in my opinion, is the weakest of the trilogy.
Agreed.
I'll get more into detail on that one next month. As you saw at the top of the show, trilogies next month on Renegade's Reviews. Friday trilogy will be featured on April 19th, 420, and 421.
Of course.
You had to get the Stoner movie on 420.
Of course. And by the way, I actually premiered that trailer yesterday on Wrestling Rewind. People were talking, man. You did a really good job with the music and everything. That was probably your best trailer I've seen you do yet.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Number 7 on my list was on your list.
Yes.
Man on the Moon.
Love it.
The story of Andy Kaufman, played by Jim Carrey, Jerry Lawler. You talked about the other wrestlers, and it's all kind of just breeze past that one, but I did want to point out a couple of little things about it. Number 1, it's the only movie on my list that I'm in. Granted, much in the words of John Cena, you can't see me, but
that's right.
Me and Mikey were there in the Olympic Auditorium when they filmed some of those scenes with Lawler.
Nice, dude.
So we are technically in the movie, even though you can't see us.
Man, I would love to.
So for sentimental purposes alone, it had to make my list.
Yeah, I would have loved to have gone to that place just one time before it became not a auditorium, arena, whatever. It's such a shame. Ugh.
It is. The Andy Kaufman, My Breakfast with Blassie, is actually on Tubi right now.
Nice.
They just added it. So if you have never seen that,
I haven't.
I highly recommend going on to Tubi and watching My Breakfast with Blassie.
I will, for
and
sure.
watch Kaufman shenanigans. Just throwing that out there.
It's funny when I was a younger lad in the let's say the late 90s, when I was still grounded from watching wrestling, but I could watch Comedy Central. They aired the Memphis stuff with Andy like all the time on that channel. Like,
I believe it because he was a comedian.
Yeah,
so I can get why Comedy Central would do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I forget the context of why it was being aired, but I saw the entire story layout start to finish. I saw the thing where Jimmy Hart came in, Jimmy Hart with his freaking like wannabe Beatles haircut with their full on like it was weird watching that go on. Even in the 90s, I watch back now, I go, what the hell is going on? But yeah, I mean, Andy, well, like we said ad nauseum, how is Andy Kaufman not celebrity 1 in the Celebrity Ring of the Hall of Fame? How is that not a thing? Like, what in the hell are they doing up there in Connecticut where it's like, come on. He never worked with a company. Well, neither did Vern Gagne. And you paid him enough to get his library away from him to put him in. Shit. Pay them Ray Stewart a couple of bucks and Zamuda a couple of bucks. They'll do whatever the hell you want to do.
Right?
Jesus. Zamuda do anything for $1. You kidding me?
Anyway. Zamuda will show up as Tony Clifton to induct him.
Please don't put that out there in the universe. Please don't do that. Please
Dude,
don't do that.
How epic would that be?
Oh, my God.
How epic would that be?
Dude, we couldn't even get the Hall of Fame on the air if Tony Clifton showed up. Are you kidding me?
And then while they showed the video package, he'd go backstage, take the makeup off, and accept the award on Andy's behalf.
Okay, you sold me. We'll do it. Okay, you win. You sold me.
But then the Jim and Andy documentary that's on Netflix that you touched on, I mean, it is so brilliant behind the scenes of making that movie. And Jim's one regret about not appearing in the Great Beyond music video for REM, because by the time the video was being made, he had left Andy behind to go do whatever movie that he was doing at that point, and did not want to have to transform back into that character because it was so exhausting for him.
Yes.
Mentally and physically.
Yeah.
But that is one of Jim's major regrets in life, is not giving back to REM after they gave such a kick-ass song for that film. And had already done the title track like 5 years earlier.
Right? Perfect. So are you in the same boat as me? Is that I prefer Jim Carrey's dramatic roles, this one and Truman Show?
No.
Almost more than The Mask, Ace Ventura, and the like.
I love Jim Carrey's slapsticky films.
Okay.
I first was introduced to him on In Living Color, as I think the world was, watching him do Fire Marshal Bill, and all those characters. I followed him into films with Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Batman Forever, The Grand Slam, if you will.
Right.
Because all those movies came out like boom, 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 boom. And by the time he got to Batman Forever, he was making like $25 million a picture.
Right.
Because he had become that hot.
Yeah.
I will say that my favorite Jim Carrey film that doesn't have ties to Gotham City is the number 23, which is very suspenseful, thriller, more
very
dramatic
dark.
than comedy.
Yeah.
But I tend to prefer his slapsticky, funny, rubber face,
oh yeah,
if you will, roles. I'm still waiting to bust out Sonic the Hedgehog and see what he does as Dr. Robotnik.
Oh my goodness.
But
yeah, I will not deny Jim Carrey's greatness as a slapstick comedian, and Batman Forever wavers all the time for me. I either really love that movie or I'm just like, oh, okay, it's there. But like, I know it's your all-time favorite. I know it's my ex's all-time favorite Batman movie. But it's. I really think Jim's Riddler really pulls that back onto the good side for me. Like, I like Tommy Lee Jones, but they should have got Billy D, man. I mean, come on, it was right there. And Val Kilmer, again, nobody will touch Keaton for me. It won't happen. And
I've said it a million times. I'll say it again now. Kilmer was an amazing Bruce Wayne. He was a shit Batman.
Right. And unfortunately, it didn't translate into the other movie where George Clooney could have been a decent one or the other. He just sucked as the character.
He was horrible as well.
And you know what? That's not really George's fault.
No.
Like George Clooney's not Bruce Wayne. George Clooney's not Batman. That's not who George Clooney's acting style is. He's not that guy. Like they made a very poor casting there, and I don't blame George for that whatsoever. I do blame Schumacher and Burton for that, flat out. So anyway, but yeah, Jim Carrey playing the Riddler. If it hadn't been Robin Williams, it needed to be Jim Carrey.
I was just gonna throw that out there. I think Jim Carrey is my favorite slapsticky actor that isn't named Robin Williams. Like,
yep.
I would have loved to have seen them in a movie together. Oh Holy God. Hell, could you imagine the box office?
Jesus. Dude, how about...
The Grinch meets the Genie.
Oh,
the marketing right there sells you.
Well, no. What I was going to say is the Genie's powers against the Mask's powers. Hello. Holy cow. Would that have been... I mean Jim had to be animated because Robin doing the live action Genie would have just been weird looking. But yeah. Anyway, carry on.
If you watch the behind the scenes footage, it's already as weird looking, but it's Robin, so we forgive it.
Dude, the freaking bloopers on that Aladdin movie are just classic. Anyway.
Number 6 on my list, almost at the halfway point, is another one that appeared on your list.
Yes.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. Batista is Drax the Destroyer.
I apologize for hacking off Star. Help me out.
Star-Lord's
hat. It's like the way you had it cut in the picture, I couldn't save his head. Sorry.
That's all good.
Yeah.
I didn't know how they would transition to the screen, but I tried to find like the more letterboxed.
Yep. Everyone you gave me except that one cut perfectly, so you're good.
There we go.
Yep.
But like you said, man, I'm not the biggest Dave Batista fan.
No.
I'm definitely not the biggest fan of him as a wrestler.
Nope.
My hatred of the him Cena match is well documented. But for what I will say about Batista is that I can never take away the man's charisma in the ring.
Oh no.
And for a man with that much charisma to play a man as, excuse the pun here, stone cold and emotionless and charisma-less as Drax is part of what makes it so funny for me. It would be like trying to watch Hulk Hogan not be Hulk Hogan.
Right, yeah.
Even you try to watch his movies, he's Hulk Hogan in every fucking movie.
Right. Or Hollywood, depending on the movie.
Oh, no, I got a better comparison. It's like watching footage of Larry the Cable Guy when he's not doing his cable guy shtick and he's just being
That is the weirdest damn thing, man. That's creepy how weird that is.
That's the best comparison I can make.
Yes, definitely.
Look up Larry the Cable Guy interviews where he's just being himself and he's not being full shtick. And that is what watching Dave Batista, the wrestler, playing Drax is like for me. Number 5 on my list is an all-star cast.
Right.
You want to just throw it up and go straight transition because the Guardians one is still up.
Oh, sorry about that. I didn't realize it was still up. I apologize. Hang on 1 second. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Hi. Okay. So anyway, carry on.
Number 5 is an all-star cast. It is a who's who of professional wrestlers. And it's even already been mentioned once on this show, even though it wasn't on Jeff's list.
Right.
Beyond the Mat.
Oh, man.
You know, primarily following the stories of Terry Funk in his 536th retirement at the time, Mick Foley, and Jake the Snake Roberts. They have The Rock pictured because who was bigger than The Rock when this came out? Seriously. Even though The Rock's only in this movie for a cup of coffee.
And when did Mick Foley and The Rock's heads both swell to 3 times their size in the course of taking the picture?
I don't know. I mean, you know, The Rock's ego probably could have taken up the full frame at that point in his career. And I'm a Dewey fan.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, mainly follows the stories of Foley, Funk, and Jake.
Yes.
But it also features draws very heavily.
Yes.
The Rock, specifically going into the I Quit match at the Rumble that year. New Jack is featured pretty prominently there. The entire ECW locker room going into Barely Legal as a part of the Funk story, and hearing Paulie's inspirational pre-show speech.
Yes.
Holy hell, that speech gives me chills every time he says it.
Every time.
But Beyond the Mat, if you call yourself a wrestling fan and you have not watched Beyond the Mat, you need to unsubscribe to this channel, my channel, and every other wrestling channel you call yourself a fan of, because you cannot be a fan if you have not seen Beyond the Mat.
Right, exactly.
Number 4 on my list is the second sequel to appear on my list, because Blade Trinity was the third in the series. This film is the second, and as of date, the last film in this series. Although it did end on a cliffhanger where a third one has been talked about for quite a few years and just has not been brought back to happening.
Right.
Number 4, Journey to the Mysterious Island, starring The Rock. You know, you talked about the rundown being a change and going a bit against type for him. I kind of feel this one is too, because yes, while it is action and there's very much that Rocky action element to it, this is definitely more of a wholesome family film, you know, trying to connect with his stepson, trying to find that bond because he's just, you know, married the stepson's mom after the last film where Brendan Fraser was the dad and left. But there's a whole wholesome family bonding story here going on. It very much has elements of National Treasure, Indiana Jones, with the trying to decipher clues about what's going on. You know, the mysterious island being a Jules Verne tale, and trying to find Nemo's submarine so they can escape, and they're on the island of Atlantis. Like, there's so much going on. Vanessa
so much
Hudgens,
lore here.
Seriously, like, you can get deep into fictional folklore into this film, and I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, it gave us the ever popular, and I know Jeff's going to shake his head here, Peck Pop of Love.
Oh, yeah.
It also gave us Rocky. It also gave us Rocky singing in a film, pre-Moana.
Which is perfectly okay. Oh, yeah.
And very, very beautifully singing. You know, Rocky's vocal talents are very underrated. And hearing him sing "What a Wonderful World" in the middle of the jungle on ukulele, just phenomenal.
To this day,
just phenomenal.
Our friend Lisa's 4-year-old daughter refuses to acknowledge Dwayne Johnson as Dwayne Johnson. He's Maui.
Exactly.
And when she hears the voice, it's like, no, that's not Maui. What the heck?
I was watching wrestling. I forget what I was watching. I was probably doing homework for one of our shows. And my niece was watching with me, and Rocky was on. And I told her, I was like, do you know who that is? She was like, no, Unky J, who? I was like, that's Maui.
Nice.
And she got like all big-eyed, like that's what Maui looks like in real life. Like, mind-blown 5-year-old here.
Well, see, she's over that threshold where she can comprehend the idea of a voice coming from somebody else. She's at that age where she gets it, right? So, 4-year-old not quite there. 5-year-old,
I will give a brief honorable mention, though, since not prepared, so don't worry about a graphic. But I do want to give a brief honorable mention here to Be Cool, where if you really want to talk about The Rock going against hype,
oh my God,
The Rock plays a gay bodyguard. Like, seriously, the bodyguard part, okay, you could pretty much see Rocky doing that. The gay part, singing "You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man," a Loretta Lynn song.
Oh my
God,
just great stuff. Oh my God.
And Be Cool was the film that made WWE realize they had a serious actor on their hands, because even Hunter commented about Rocky in that movie and how amazing he was. And they are still, like I said, they are still potentially going to do a third in the Journey series, supposed to be going from the Earth to the Moon, which is the book that the grandfather, Michael Caine, gives him at the end of the second movie. And they're talking about Brendan Fraser coming back, Dwayne coming back, Michael Caine coming back. So, time's ticking there on that old man. I love me some Michael Caine, but,
Yep.
In the words of Johnny Cash and June, time's a wasting.
Yeah. By the way, you mentioned Michael Caine. I finally got to watch the entirety of Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, and hearing Jeremy Irons, hearing the voice of Scar be the protector of Bruce Wayne. I'm going, no, this doesn't work.
Right? I cannot trust Jeremy Irons.
This makes no damn sense.
I just can't. You killed Mufasa and framed your nephew for it. You cannot protect Bruce Wayne. No, Scar. That's a bad Scar.
Lost you, Jay.
Check, check.
God damn it. All right, maybe it's me. Let me refresh. Hang on. Edit point, obviously. Check, check, check.
Check, check.
Nope.
All right, let me leave and come back in.
Didn't hear that. Didn't do anything. That's weird as hell. Didn't do this, did I? Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Oh. What the fuck, dude?
Check, check. Hello, hello. I hear you. Do you hear me?
You hear me?
Yes.
I hear you. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. By the way, you brought Michael Caine up, so I have to bring this up because I finally got to take care of this. I watched the entirety of Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. It is not okay. The voice of Scar is trying to protect Bruce Wayne. My mind don't do that shit. It's weird.
No. I cannot buy Jeremy Irons as Alfred.
No.
You killed Mufasa and framed your nephew. No. Get away from Bruce Wayne. Seriously. You want to talk about Two-Face?
Right? It's like I'm waiting for him to kill Bruce and try to frame Dick Grayson for it. Like, no, stop. Jeebus.
Well,
anyway,
at least one Robin is already dead in this universe. You see the costume in Dawn of Justice.
True. Very true.
I don't know if it's Dick or if it's one of the other Robins, but in any event, at least a Robin is already dead.
Well, you got to believe it's Jason Todd because the Joker is psychotic and has already messed with Batman's head. It's been 20 years, so you got to believe it's Jason Todd. But anyway, yeah, just like you talk about all the time, but I never actually got through the whole movie and watched him look over Bruce's shoulder. I'm just like, my mind don't fucks with this. This is weird.
And I love Batman versus Superman. Like, there's a whole lot of people that shit on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're only crapping on it because it's not Marvel and you want something to do. Well, Batman versus Superman does have a couple of flaws.
Right.
But if you want to be technical, every movie in the MCU has a couple of flaws.
And honestly, and I having watched them both now, I realize it. Both of those movies, Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, are long, and there's a lot of exposition.
But Batman vs Superman doesn't feel as long to me as Man of Steel does, because the movie starts, boom, Superman's fighting Zod, like we're coming right into the middle of a movie here, and then it goes from there.
I get that. It may have been the time when I was watching it, but it felt long for me. Maybe. I remember I watched Man of Steel on a train going from Bakersfield to Merced, which is a horrible trip in and of itself. But yeah, dude, like they're both long. It's 6 hours, and when you figure the Snyder cut that got released yesterday is freaking 4 hours, it's just like, oh god.
I can't wait to get a hold of that. I want to see that so bad.
Yeah, I do too.
Batman versus Superman. Right. I feel it doesn't move as slowly as Man of Steel does, at least not for me. Right. I won't say my only, but my biggest problem with Batman versus Superman comes in the form of Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor doesn't come off as Lex Luthor to me. He comes off more as Edward Nygma.
Yes. I thought the exact same thing when I saw him. Weird stuff. Anyway, we're getting off into the freaking
if Eisenberg had been cast as Nygma to become the Riddler, his performance was excellent.
Yeah.
But he was supposed to be Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
He didn't strike me as Lex.
Yeah, I mean, in all the incarnations of Lex, you either had the older, bald or balding psychotic millionaire against a younger-looking Man of Steel. On Smallville, they're the same age, roughly. So I can get with that. But, dude, like, Jesse's, he looks like a freaking teenager compared to Henry Cavill. Like, dude, I don't, like, I'm waiting for Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck to just punch him through the face and knock the pimples off his head. Like, dude, stop that. You're not Lex.
And Henry Cavill, however you pronounce his last name, might very well be transitioning to the MCU right now. I've been hearing rumors very, very heavily that they may be trying to get him to be Captain Britain.
I'd be okay with that.
In the MCU.
I'd be okay with that.
Anyways, we're way off in the weeds. Let's try to reel it back in a little bit.
Here we go.
Number three on my list was already mentioned on your list.
Yes.
You had it way lower than I do, but you know what? Yeah. At the end of the day, this is such a fun movie.
I know.
As you said, any wrestling fan is Sean and Gordy.
For real.
And I think that's where you got Sean and Scott mixed up, was because the character's name is Sean.
Yeah.
But Ready to Rumble, featuring, amongst others, Bill Goldberg, DDP, Sting, Sid with both his legs not broken, and a very, at the time of its release, WWF F. Perry Saturn.
Oh, yeah.
Now, obviously, this was filmed prior to the jump of the Radicals.
Right.
But the fact that when it came out, Saturn was still one of the main heavies who, along with Sid, tried to beat up Sal Bandini, very much based off of Stu Hart. I'm surprised they didn't reshoot those scenes to remove him from the movie. Yeah. Maybe they figured it would have been too much in production. Maybe Martin Landau couldn't redo because he had already moved to something else. I don't know.
Well, you have to remember, that movie was over budget to begin with, number one. Number two, they had to rethink the whole strategy because Bischoff wasn't around to be the heavy. So, I mean...
So they made Joe Pantoliano the heavy in a very much Bischoff role.
Yeah, which, dude, when you go into pre-production and your executive producers laid off by the company, you're screwed from Jump Street. So it was a train wreck every step of the way. So,
but the movie was still good.
It was still good. I'm not saying it's not a fun movie, but like I said,
I mean, it very easily could have become a train wreck and fallen apart at the wheels.
Right.
But by some miracle, they kept it together.
Right.
And it's just a fun comedy, cheese-tastic movie. You've got other cameos from Randy Savage.
Oh, yeah.
The Nitro Girls in their lingerie. Hello.
And Rose McGowan. Let's not forget Rose McGowan.
Yes, Rose McGowan. But this movie, Ready to Rumble, like you said, is just so much fun from start to finish.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Keene is not in the celebrity wing.
Right. Yeah.
If we ever do another wrestlers that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, God damn it, Jimmy Keene is on
number
list.
one. That's it. Yeah. Let me just say this. This is my favorite movie where wrestling is the primary theme.
Yes.
That's not the wrestler.
Yes. I mean, the wrestler isn't even on my list, and I have this ahead of Beyond the Mat. So that just kind of shows that I'm right there with you on that.
It is a fun, ridiculous, stupid Adam Sandler area movie. But damn it, I can't help but laugh in spite of my damn self.
Exactly,
dude. I love the opening scene at the freaking convenience guy with the smelly finger on the cup, because we've all met that guy at the counter. We've all met that guy you just want to punch through his stupid little face, and you totally would scratch your ass and get the stink on your finger just to screw with him. You would. Classic.
Very much so.
Anyway, I've kissed our kids' ass enough for one day. Let's go.
Number two on my list. Number two on my list was also on your list.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, it'll be featured tomorrow on Renegade's Reviews.
Cool.
The Princess Bride.
Saturday afternoon viewing, baby. I love it.
With Andre the Giant.
Yes.
As the lovable giant Fezzik.
I love your poster here. It's really cute.
That's the graphic that they use for the streaming sites.
I remember. Yep.
That's what I tried to do for all my images. I put the movie and then I put streaming
Netflix or
so that it would try to give me the perfect letterbox image there for you.
He's learning from me, children. He's learning from me.
But I mean, it kills me to hear you talk about how far gone Andre was during these productions. Yeah. And you watch him with such a warm, lovable smile on his face. And I swear I'm not trying to get you emotional, Jeff, so forgive me if I do get a tear in your eye, baby.
Woo!
But you just look at how warm Andre was in this movie, and introducing Robin Wright, the woman who would go on to become Jenna, Carrie Elway, Billy Crystal as Miracle Max, Wallace Shawn as Vizzini, who most of our era probably know Wallace Shawn for being Rex in Toy Story.
Yes.
Mandy Patinkin, the original leader on Criminal Minds.
Yep. Nobody remembers that.
I remember.
I know you remember. I remember too.
Because I watched probably the first 10 seasons of that show before I fell off and started getting into other stuff.
And yeah, remember the Criminal Minds, one of the key players on that became Shamar Moore, who came from my show, Young and the Restless. So,
Yes.
you know, that's why people don't remember that, because Shamar Moore is such a sexy black man. Whatever, who cares? So,
but
no homo.
I actually just rewatched The Princess Bride 2 days ago, and number one, I forgot how short it was, because in my mind, this was like a 2-hour plus epic story, and it's like an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, there is no filler in this film. It moves.
Yeah.
Like, every time they cut back to Peter Falk as the grandfather and Fred Savage, and you see where he is in the book, it's like, man, they're
jamming,
they're breezing through this story.
Moving.
But I forgot how short it was, and I forgot how much I loved this film.
Oh my God, for real.
Because prior to watching it the other day to review tomorrow, it had probably been at least a good 5 years since I've seen this film.
Well, I know we watched it at least once because Jade loves it too. So I know we watched it at least once
right,
together.
But it's been at least 10 years.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah, I've been up here for 7 now, almost.
Shit, you're right. Golly.
So it's probably been at least a good 5 to 7 since I've seen this film.
Wow. Okay, man, that just mind F me big time. Holy crap.
Right?
Jesus. Anyway.
Summer 2014.
Yeah. Because Dylan had moved back not too long after that. That's right. Damn, man. Holy moly. Anyway.
Number one on my list really needs no introduction. I'm wearing the man's t-shirt.
Woo! No.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. They Live, and I even gave you some options. I'm surprised you chose that one. I gave you like 3 images to choose from.
I chose that one because that's the original.
Okay. The other 2 I know were more artsy-fartsy as opposed to like promo poster, but I really liked the look of them too. Right. So I was like, well, let's see which one Jeff chooses.
OG, always OG for me, baby. Always. You know me.
But Rowdy Piper, They Live, you know, like he said, we talked about it ad nauseum on Renegade Recap in February when we were teasing this month's movies for Renegade's reviews. We talked about it for 45 minutes when we reviewed the film. And we probably did about another 15 minutes when Jeff was discussing it on his list.
And we'll probably do another 10 to 15 when we do the recap at the end of the month, too. So,
you know, March 30th.
Thank you. Thank you. Jesus, I couldn't remember the freaking date during the trailer making. Son of a bitch.
All right. You know, I'm going to breeze through it here, but They Live, you know, I will say this, and I have repeated this quote that you made on our broadcast of They Live a couple times now. But since I am sitting here next to you, I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge it and admit that you were right when you said that from No Holds Barred, Hogan's films get better. From They Live, Piper's not so much.
No. Oh.
Because Hell Comes to Frogtown was what it was.
Yeah.
I'm not going to knock that movie because there was a couple things about it that I kind of I thought that was funny.
Right.
But I just watched and reviewed Terminal Rush, and I was bored for a good chunk of it.
Oh man, yeah, it's like, a tough one.
It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was a bad movie, but it definitely bored me.
Right. Agreed.
Whereas from No Holds Barred came Suburban Commando, which is on my list. We know how much I love it.
Right.
After that was Mr. Nanny, which just went up this past Monday on my channel.
Right, which I love.
And I forgot how good it was. I had forgotten that Austin Pendleton was in it.
Yeah.
As the father.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, Max from the Muppet movie, Doc Hopper's sidekick.
There you go.
So there's that connection for me.
Right.
You've got Hogan and a Muppet connection.
We're good with Jay. Here we go.
I'm sold.
Yeah, it's Hogan and Muppet Connection, not called Muppets in Space. We good.
Yeah. And then...
Sorry, Jim. Just saying.
And then Austin Pendleton, was Santa and Christmas with the Cranks as well.
I know.
So there's a Christmas connection.
Yes.
And then the son is Tim Matheson's son, and Sometimes They Come Back, which is probably like my second favorite Stephen King film.
Oh, there you go.
So now you've got a foyer into suspense thriller, because Sometimes They Come Back isn't really a horror film. But still, I had forgotten about all that stuff, and watching it, it's like, okay, Mr. Nanny isn't as good as Commando, but it's definitely better than No Holds Barred.
Oh, yeah.
So here it is documented, an hour and 45 almost into the show. Jeff was right when he said that Hogan's films get better and Piper's not so much.
So for the record, WWE Universe and fans of the Jeff Meacham Network and the Custody Studios, not only are we 2 for 2 in the Hall of Fame picks this year, but I was right about the movies on a JJ show. It's a good week for good old JM, kids.
Do you have any official honorable mentions?
I don't. I just, I had a few off the top of my head, but I just figured we'd probably go this long, if not longer, so I didn't want to bog it down any more than I already had, because I knew I was going to bog it down for at least an hour myself.
See, I didn't think we were going to go this long, because the last time we did this show, it only went about an hour. I do want to throw out the one official honorable mention that I had, though. Go ahead and pop that up.
There it is, brother.
Universal Soldier: The Return with Bill Goldberg, alongside the returning Jean-Claude Van Damme and Michael Jai White. This was the first Universal Soldier that Van Damme had been in since the original. I want to say there was either 2. I know there was a part 2. There might have been a part 3 in between the original and this one. I think this one might have been the 4th in the official series, but only the second that Van Damme was in.
Right.
And Michael Jai White, fresh off of kicking ass in Spawn.
Yep.
Bill Goldberg, I believe, was still WCW champion at this time. If not, he was fresh off of losing the belt and still had all the momentum behind him.
Right.
As the character of Romeo. This is just a good kick-ass action fest. And I know you're not Bill's biggest fan, but if you've never seen that film, I highly recommend you watch it for Van Damme, Michael Jai White, and even Goldberg.
I have seen it. I didn't hate it.
There you go. Coming from Jeff, I will accept that.
Very good.
He did not hate something Goldberg is in, and Goldberg's also in Ready to Rumble, which actually made his list. So I'm 2 for 2 today when it comes to Goldberg.
And that's all you're getting, Billy boy. Anyway.
I'm not Goldberg's biggest fan either.
No.
But, I will say that the movies I have seen him in have not been horrible.
No. He is definitely a decent crossover into acting. He's not a bad actor. He's just a dangerous wrestler, and I will stand by that until I go into the great beyond. I don't, whatever, but I don't enjoy him being in the wrestling ring. He hurts people, and it's not that he doesn't care. He's not an asshole. He was to me on the phone, but like he just doesn't have the thing in his head to tick off to not be a spaz, and it's dangerous, and it sucks, and it really bugs me. So anyway.
So that is our list for the top 10 films starring or heavily featuring pro wrestlers.
Yes.
If we opened it up to every movie that featured a cameo by a wrestler, we could be here for another 2 hours.
But we got shit to do. It's Friday night, kids. We got shit to do.
It's Friday.
He ain't got no job.
He ain't got shit to do.
Ain't got shit to
except
do.
Run an Empire.
Except Run an Empire. That's right. And as we speak of an Empire, I have to do the plugs really quick here before we wrap it up. I don't know what time this is going to go up tomorrow because I have to figure out what time I'm going to be leaving the house for the next thing I'm going to plug, so I'll do that in a second. But at some point tomorrow, Chapter 4 of Big Gold will arrive on the Twitter page. Enter the Dragon. Oh, yes. The reason I don't know when it's going to be up is because my good buddy Travis from the Days of Wild Wrestling, who JJ knows, and I will be driving from Santa Clarita down to Huntington Park and seeing everybody's favorite wrestler, Rob Van Dam, along with Mrs. Van Dam. I don't even know if they're really married or not, but Katie Forbes is going to be there. They're doing a meet and greet from 2 to 4 at the Wrestling Guys store. The address, so I can save it out there, is 6085 State Street, Huntington Park, California, 90255. Prices are on their website at thewrestlingguysstore.com. I think that's what it is. Thewrestlingguysstore.com. Yeah, I got it right. Yay me. So that'll be the majority of my day tomorrow. When I do get home, if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, my personal Facebook, head on over to the group for Meech's monthly streaming show, the Disney Fix. We're going to Agrabah, the city of mystery and wonder, in the Hyperion Theater. That's right, we're going to watch Aladdin, bitches. Sunday, I sleep, clearly, because I have the 2 pay-per-views to do and watch along for. God save the Meech. Monday is a big day for both of us, along with Mikey, if we can get his ass on the screen with us. It's our 10th anniversary at the Constantine Studios, man. I am so jazzed about this. I even didn't schedule Talk Wrestling for this week. This is going to be a Talk Wrestling slot this week.
Wow.
Much like the next day is going to be in the Stat Boys Sports Bar slot because it's that important a milestone in the history of professional wrestling, the demise of WCW. So that'll be Tuesday's topic. When we get to the end of the week, I don't know if I'm going to pre-record this or do it live. I haven't decided yet. Depends who's available, who's not. We're going to watch the simulcast. I've got the whole video put together as it would air, minus commercials, because I'm not that much of a freaking technical wonder. But that'll be next Friday, the 26th. And that'll be up after the replay of your review of The Wrestler. So there is that. So
well, I am off on that day if you choose to do it live. If you choose to do it Memorex, I don't know when I would be able to accompany you, but if you choose to go live with it, I am off that day.
Well, I will check the logistics this weekend and see what I can work out and see if doing it live would be a good idea, because we don't know how live works around here with the damn technology. But anyway, so just to recap, we like wrestlers and movies. I was right about Hogan and Piper movies. JJ was right about Goldberg.
We both have called Hall of Fame inductees.
I was going to say, let me build the suspense, God damn it.
Okay, sorry.
JJ was right about the Goldberg movies with me. God help him. He was right about Molly. I was right about Eric Bischoff. It's been a good week, ladies and gentlemen, and we still got the weekend to go, baby, because I got 2 pay-per-views to cover on Saturday. I'm so happy. Sunday, rather. Saturday, I get to see RVD.
Right about?
We're always right. We're good at this stuff. But, it's...
I'm just curious. I'm curious to see who else will be right about this year.
I'm trying to think of our lists. I would love... I mean, Crockett is too soon because he just died. It would seem like almost like a pity thing or whatever. But I'm just trying to think who else is...
but Eddie went in a couple of months after he passed.
I realized that, and that was more of an open wound to WWE fans than Jim Crockett. Not disrespecting Jim Crockett at all, but I'm keeping it real. Oh God!
I just find it a little ironic that this is 20 years since the purchase of WCW, which spawned from Crockett's NWA.
Yep.
So him being alive, him being dead, this would be a good year to do it.
It would, and it's somebody pointed out to me that this is the 20th anniversary of the NWO, so Bischoff going in is good. Yeah, it's also 20 years since the demise of WCW, so it's just the weirdest timing in the history of the world for Eric Bischoff to be put in, but it's so perfect. So, anyway, I appreciate everybody being here this week for the last 2 hours. If you haven't been here for the whole 2 hours, then you're a lame ass, so go away. We do thank you in all seriousness.
Yes.
Now that we're in in mid-March. Next week, of course, in the DADS slot will be the replay of the Wrestler review, followed by the simulcast of Raw and Nitro 20 years later. And then we'll be into April. And April in the Renegades reviews is trilogies, as you saw in the trailer. Very excited about that because I'm going to be on, I think, 6 shows next month.
Probably, yeah.
Because Ducks and Back to the Future. So there you go. Looking forward to it, man.
Once this goes off the air, feel free to check out my review of The Reunion.
Yes.
Which went up today, starring John Cena and Ethan Embry, amongst others.
Yes.
Make sure you tune in tomorrow for The Princess Bride.
I have a clip. Wait, I have a graphic for that. Wait. There you go. Boom, there it is.
Make sure you tune in tomorrow for The Princess Bride at 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 Eastern.
Yes.
I'm sure, depending on what Jeff has going on his channel, you'll probably watch it via tape delay, if you will.
Well, I said tomorrow, the plan, and I talked to the guy that runs the Wrestling Guy store, very nice guy. I can't set up a full podcasting like this, right? But I do plan to bring the selfie stick. I do plan to bring the phone, and we're going to see what I can pull off with 2 hours and data. So, and that's from 2 to 4. So I will do my best to not be a complete infringer on your shit. But, I'm going to be with RVD and Katie. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. I never know what's going to happen around those two. So,
whatever happens. It seems like most of my fans prefer to watch it on their own time as opposed to when it premieres live anyway. So do what you do, bro.
There you go.
On Sunday, join me as I discuss The Package, starring Stone Cold Steve Austin and Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, I forgot he was in the movie with Dolph. That's right. Wow. I will say this, though.
I believe he was in 2 because I believe they both were in the original Expendables together as well.
You're correct. Let me about Sunday. I will infringe for Sunday because the NWA goes from 1 to 4 and then Fastlane's on. So
I know.
I didn't book that shit.
As I said, it is what it is. It is what it is. My fans, our fans, seem to prefer to watch it on their own time anyway. Yes. So
right.
Whatever happens. On Monday, I will be reviewing The Secret Agent Club.
Oh my god!
Make sure I'm seeing that right.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking at The Secret Agent Club, starring Hulk Hogan.
That's you talk like I said. Hogan's movies are still good going forward, but man, this is a cheesy son bitch.
Next week on Tuesday, it'll be John Morrison once again for Sinbad and the War of the Furies. Next Wednesday, I will be visiting Piper once again for The Chair.
Okay.
On Thursday next week, it'll be Al Snow in Overtime.
I want to make a full review of that movie, just cause.
And as Jeff mentioned, 1 week from today, in this time slot, The Wrestler, which was on Jeff's list, but not on mine.
It won't be near as long as this episode, I promise, guys.
Swear to God. I just had to get my 2 plugs in there since, you were doing your plugs.
No, that's fine, man. You know what? 2 hours with me, people are used to this shit after 20 years. Like, whatever. I ain't worried about it. So, we do appreciate the viewership. We do appreciate you watching us on demand. If you didn't watch us on the premiere, which is fine because it's Friday night, you ain't got shit to do, so I get it. Thank you all for watching. We will see you next week in this time slot, as JJ said, for the replay of the review of The Wrestler and the Raw Nitro simulcast, and then we're into April. But next week on the Jeff Beacher Network, we're busy all week. Stay tuned for that. I will hopefully see you guys live tomorrow from the Wrestling Guys store in Huntington Park. Until then, he is the Renegade. I'm the Meech, and we will see you guys next time.